All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I have a very special individual alongside me. She already has acquired too many feathers on her cap. She's a global entrepreneur, a startup marketer, a content creator, and most importantly, she's a podcaster. So Ayushi, welcome to the Nerdish Mic. And how are you feeling at the moment?
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on your show. And I'm feeling great. I just came back from the gym, so I'm excited and pumped. Let's do this.
Okay, absolutely. So something that really intrigues me before I talk to any of my guests on the podcast is that I believe that their childhood is actually a point of pivot. Okay, so basically I like to start things from their childhood. So something that I've been very intrigued to know about you as well. So how was your childhood like? Like what were the learnings and the biggest highlights from your childhood that made you acquire too many things at this point in your life? So what were the specific things that you actually learned in your childhood?
Okay, so good that you asked this question because yes, when we look at individuals today in their present self, we usually on social media we get judgmental, right? That we're like, oh, this person comes from privilege, or this person has so many fancy things and leads a great life. But what we don't know is about their childhood. So I'm glad that you brought it up. And if I have to talk about my childhood, the first half of my childhood was full of struggle because my family, as a family, we weren't doing financially excellent, right? So we were not doing well. So we didn't have all the opportunities or financial stability. And financial stability actually came in later in my life when I was like 10, 11. That's when financial stability came in. And since then, we've grown as a family together. So that is one of the things that has really taught me on how to, look at different aspects of life in a way that anything can go away at any time. Like everything that you have right now is temporary. Sometimes you can have wealth and sometimes you can't, like you won't have wealth, right? So everything is temporary, and that's what I learned from all that as a family we've been through. Besides that, of course, like there's so many experiences one has in their childhood, right? So I do have a lot of traumatic experiences in my childhood also, but that we can keep for another episode. But like you mentioned, all that has happened in my childhood has added to making me who I am today. And I'm glad that I have, instead of getting lost in a spiral of negativity, I've been able to use all of that, learn from it, and get ahead. So quickly to summarize and answer your question, the things I've learned is that hard work pays off 100%, because I've seen my parents work hard without having the opportunities that their counterparts usually had. So they've worked very hard. Second, that you will face difficulties no matter what. Even if you've been born with like a silver spoon, you will face difficulties. It's how you react or act actually during those times of difficulty judges or builds your character and builds your life. So these two things I live by every day.
A very interesting thing that you actually highlighted is that I have not heard every Indian girl say that their parents actually provide them a free will in the earlier aspects of their life. So something that you highlighted, that your parents were actually very supportive and they actually provided you the free will to go and explore yourself. So I mean, I want you to talk a little bit more on that why do this happens in our society, that not every Indian girl who actually is, growing up does not share this instance that their parents are actually very supportive towards her. Why do they have a very contradicting belief towards it? Why do they complain every time and crib about the situation that, yaar, agar main ladka hota, the things would have been slightly different for me. So, I mean, what is your point of view on that?
I get it. And so many people DM me about this also, that my parents won't allow me for this career, they won't allow me to move out and things like that. Now, it goes both ways. First, yes, even I was born in a family which was, very scared of sending me out in the world. Of course, because we have seen the kind of society we've grown up in. It's not 100% safe for women.
Absolutely.
So first of all, safety, and also the culture that people are expected different things based on their gender. Like there are gender roles clearly defined in our society, even in my household, even though we're like today in 2022, we're very progressive, living a very balanced modern life. I still see the kind of expectations subconsciously that my family has from me is different from what they have from my brother, right? And it's a long cultural thing that has stayed with us. So in all honesty, it's not going to go away. But that brings me to the second point, is the onus comes down to us individuals to have a sit down conversation with our parents.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember when I was in 10th grade, my parents were, looking at what everyone else is doing, and they were like, oh, you should also give JEE, right? And you should also go into all that, get coaching and do this, do that. And I was very clear that from very early on in my life, I was very clear that eventually I'm going to get into business. I cannot be in the corporate sector. It doesn't suit me. So I remember in 10th grade, I was just 15 or 16. I sat my parents down and I told them that, listen, thank you for supporting me with my education all this while, but I don't want to take these JEE coachings and I don't want to give JEE. Right? So that's something that I did. And I didn't get angry about it. I didn't fight about it. That conversation still lives in my head like completely, because it was such a decent, such a good conversation where both the parties understood each other. They put forth their points saying that, it has a great future, it will secure this, it secured that for you. And I told them that, you know what, I trust in my capabilities. If I do something else as well, it will secure my future also. Don't worry about it. I'll find my way. So that conversation pivoted how my career has shaped over time, right? Because after 10th grade, my parents did not push me in any career direction. They were like, do what you think is right. Do what you feel works for you. And that's what I've been doing. And that applies to everything else as well, right? Like if you look at my social media, I always have colored hair, I have tattoos, I live in a very,
flashy way.
Different life than most people. Flash, whatever you call it, in a different way. Now, and the thing is, I've been, sorry, it's breaking off a little bit.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, is it
perfect.
better? Yeah. So the thing is that I have been doing all these things since I was a teenager, but it wasn't an act of rebellion. It was an act of expression. I was expressing myself. So the only thing it took was for me to sit down with my parents and explain to them why it means so much to me to get something that is meaningful to me tattooed on me, or get my hair colored, because it makes me, it makes me feel like me, right? So that's what I keep telling everybody, that you have to find ways of conversation that will work for that generation also. You just have to explain it in a way. It will be difficult for some families because they're more culturally bent. So it will be difficult for them to understand. Of course, one conversation might not solve it, but try, right? Don't fight.
Few days back, I was making this tweet, which was somewhat like that: in the initial stages of your life, you need to show your conviction towards your art and skill, which is, I feel that it gets very important when you are not belonging to the modern family, when you are, when your roots are actually coming out from your culture and your heritage, actually, you need to have a conviction towards your art, and you need to convince your parents in order to, so that they can invest their resources on yourself. So I feel that conviction and clarity is a very major part when you are actually finding your skill in life.
Absolutely, you're right. Yeah.
So
you have to back your argument or whatever you're saying with data, that this field of work, it works, and I can do well in it.
Everything in the modern world is actually evaluate it from the results point of view. I certainly feel that it has some drawbacks and it has some, things that can be counted as positive as well. So yeah, so this takes me to the next part of this podcast, which is somewhat like, I'll put you in a situation, and I do not know whether you have been in that situation or not, but I'll actually put you in that situation and I'll ask you about what your thought process at that point of time would be. So are you ready?
Okay.
So
sounds good. Yeah.
It is somewhat like you wake up on a perfect day and somehow you're not feeling very okay, you are very much offbeat, you're feeling claustrophobic, you are feeling absolutely nauseous, and you are actually deciding that I should be taking a leave from office for today. Okay. And all of a sudden you get a call from your office and they inform you that you have to be present here because we are going to shoot a very important video. Okay. So during those moments, you are actually left with two options. Either you can say yes to that information or the offer, you can go to the office, or you can sit back and actually take care of your health. So during those moments, what you are going to actually do and what is your why behind that?
Okay, so this has happened. I mean, not in an office because I have my own business, but there have been times when I've woken up and I've not been feeling great and I have some client meetings lined up.
Yeah.
So first thing that I do right when I wake up and I figure out that I'm not feeling well is to understand why is it that I'm feeling this way? Is it something that is serious that I need to take care of? Do I need to go to the doctor? Or is it something stressful? Is it something mentally causing this, right? Like, am I anxious or am I just stressed or not at the right place in my head? So first step is to identify how I'm feeling and why I'm feeling that. If it's something that I can manage myself and I don't have to go to the doctor, then I spend the first half of the morning, like the first half an hour, just taking care of that. So getting like a lemonade if that'll help me or whatever, and then change. If it's something mentally causing that, then I will try to go talk to whoever I feel comfortable with. For example, my brother, right? I will speak to him and I'll let him know about how I'm feeling. And then he'll probably give me a solution. Or even if he doesn't, there is somebody to listen to me and give me a safe space to talk to, right? So these are the first steps. And then if I have to go to work, then I will let the clients also know that, hey, I know you've lined up these meetings, but I'm not at my 100%. And I don't think I'll do justice to whatever work we have lined up. Is it possible to reschedule it? Or is it possible to, push it back even if it's today only, just push it back. So I hope other people are also that understanding. So they will understand. They don't mind pushing it back. If they absolutely cannot because they've spent on something or, whatever, something is just not able to be changed, then I will go in with medicines or whatever I'm feeling, and then come back and then give myself a day off later when I can. Yeah.